Rob Seco, Future Farm. Today's innovations, tomorrow's solutions.
Welcome back to Future Farm, Todd. So we're standing here in a soybean field of Future Farm, and we wanted to revisit what we had talked about earlier this spring, and that's about our planter box solution, TuneUp Plus soybeans, and what we're seeing in the field now that we've had enough of the growing season to actually start to see some differences. So first off, can you remind us what is in that planter box solution?
Boy, this planter box treatment is a phenomenal set of components. There's 21 different components in it. Starts with fluency agents. It's got 3 different nutrients in it. It's got a whole consortium of bacteria that help nutrient use efficiency. It has a rhizobia that helps do what? It helps build the nodules on the soybean plant that help create nitrogen. Then it also has nitrogen fixing bacteria for late season churn and burn.
Exactly. So that's a lot of different ingredients to do a lot of different things throughout the season. So what are we seeing starting with emergence?
You know, we start with emergence, and you gotta realize with soybeans, even after the first week of May, past the first week of May, every date that we delay planting is worth about a half a bushel per acre per day. What we're seeing out of this planter box treatment is we're getting a day, if not 2 days, quicker emergence. That could equal, just that emergence pattern could equal at least a bushel. And how we're seeing that today is we have some late planted soybeans, and we have the planter box treatment at V7 and the untreated at V6.
You know, I actually have a couple of plants that you had kindly dug up for us to demonstrate this. It's a little easier since these are a little bit wilted to hold them upside down to show the difference, but you can see the untreated is about a leaf stage earlier, so it's not as long or large as a plant as the treated would be, so here in my other hand. And so you can definitely see that difference in the field.
And consider they are a node apart, and on a soybean plant, how much is a node worth? Well, a pod's worth about 1.6 bushel, so if you can get several pods on a node, it's pretty valuable.
Absolutely.
And that's just that early season advantage.
Yeah. So as we move from that really early season emergence time period, you know, you mentioned that we're seeing more nodulation. Can you tell us more about what we're seeing?
Yeah, and I've even got some example of that. So one, we have a greater root pattern. The tap root's more full. You got secondary and tertiary root hairs, but we get more nodules. So we have greater nodulation. And that nodulation is coming from a bacteria known as rhizobia. And rhizobia is necessary for symbiotic nitrogen fixation. I know it's a couple big words, but what that does is that it helps create the nodules that grab nitrogen from the atmosphere and create a usable nitrogen form. And you can see here that here is the planter box treatment, here is untreated, that you've got greater root system, and if you take the close-up, you have more nodules per plant. Yeah. And that's a big churn as you move late into the season.
Oh, absolutely. And so these things together, both the earlier and more robust emergence as well as the additional nodulation, you know, that's resulting in a bigger plant that may actually be canopying earlier than the untreated control, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And as you get to, you want more canopy as you get to R1 stage. And this particular plant, they're not yet in R1, but you want as much vegetation as you can possibly get to as you start to flower, so you can do what? So you can capture more solar radiation. That solar radiation then creates more sugar, got greater leaf area, got greater canopy. Not only do you have more vegetation to create more energy, but you also have more shading of the row. And what will that do for our weed control?
Helps suppress weed control.
Absolutely.
Helps retain moisture in the ground.